and welcome everyone to the Polity Primer series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pragya and today we are going to discuss a very important topic which is in news recently. The title of our today's discussion is Women in Politics, Constitutional Aspects. Have you ever wondered the plight of women in India? Have you ever pondered upon the question that why women have so low representation in politics? We are going to try to find an answer to these questions in our today's discussion. In this discussion, we will be studying about the historical background of the demand of the reservation in politics as well as the social status of women in India. We are also going to ponder upon the need for women in politics. We are also going to see the newly introduced Women's Reservation Bill. We are also going to see 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, which has granted a reservation to women in the local self-governments. And in the end, we are going to see a practice question for your prelims examination and a practice question for your mains examination. Now let us proceed to understand the background of our today's topic. The background of our today's topic evolves around the recently introduced Women's Reservation Bill as well as the ongoing debate about the representation of women in politics. So with this background, let us understand the demand of women for inclusion in politics as well as the social status of women in India. So if we talk about the historical background or the social status of women in India, women in India are often treated below par their male counterparts. They are often considered to be below in rank with their male counterparts. Women in India face discrimination, oppression and also have a disadvantageous position which is attributed to the following factors. So the first factor is the low literacy rate amongst women. If we talk about the literacy rate in India, though it has improved a lot since independence, but the women in India have a low literacy rate as per their male counterparts. In fact, the school dropout rates and the university dropout rates amongst women is very high. Why? Because they get married at an early age. The second issue being that on an average, an Indian woman works 1 hour more than an average Indian man every day. Why? Because women are expected to do household chores. They cannot say, okay, I'll not do household chores and they will be exempted. Women are expected in the society to put their household needs at priority rather than their personal goals or professional goals. And that is why they are always working. And this is a sad scenario which is the reality today also. In fact, a study has been made and it has been highly debated that the inclusion of those women should also be there in the GDP who are housewives, because their works remain highly unpaid and highly unaccounted for. No one gives an award to the woman for doing the household chores. It is considered to be a women's duty because India has a patriarchal society. Third issue is the Equal Remuneration Act 1976 provides that equal wages should be paid to equal work. But this is not the case. Women in India often do not reach the higher positions in the corporate ladder. They are paid lesser than their male counterparts. So they are still fighting for the pay parities in almost all the sectors. Some sectors are inclusive, but most of the sectors are there is a division of pay between a male colleague doing the same amount of work and a female colleague doing the same amount of work. Then the fourth issue is female feticide. Female feticide is an unfortunate reality in India. If we talk about the sex ratio of some states, they are very low. If the expectation of a son from a woman in India is very high and the parents also wants a son because they consider son to be an asset and daughter to be a liability. This thinking is still prevailing in India. So with this we come to a question that why do we need women in politics? So the issues around women often led to a movement known as the feminist movement, which talks about equality in various sectors, and these feminists and the women social workers who are working for the rights of women have often said that there is a need to give power in the hands of women. What will happen by that? If women are in power, they will speak about the issues they are facing, because currently women issues are often ignored and they are not paid attention to, and that is why women require power in their hand and require equal representation in the parliament, and that is why we need more women in the politics. So with this, let us discuss the newly introduced Women's Reservation Bill or the Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam. So the representation of women in politics has been a demand since many years. This demand has been long overdue. In 1955, what happened was, government appointed committee recommended that 10% of the seat in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies should be reserved for women, because this is also a form of equality, right? Article 14 gives right to equality to every citizen of India. So to place women at an equal footing with men, Article 14 and this reservation will give them an equal level playing field. So this is also a affirmative action of the state. However, it was not until the 1980s that the demand for women's reservation gained momentum. So you see, 1955 to 1980, the demand was a bit subdued. From 1980s, this demand gained momentum. But nothing has been done on this women reservation bill since 1996. So what happened in 1998? The National Perspective Plan for Women recommended that 30% of seats in all elected bodies should be reserved for women. But this demand was not fulfilled. It remained a far-fetched reality. So the demand for having women reservation in politics was made since we got independence, but no concrete step had been taken regarding this. The Women's Reservation Bill proposes to reserve 33% of the seats in the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies for the women. So I was explaining this before also, that the Women Reservation Bill has currently been passed in the Lok Sabha in the special session of the parliament, and this bill talks about reserving 33% of the seats for women in the Lok Sabha and the state legislative assemblies. It also says that this reservation will only be effective from till 15 years from the commencement of this act. It also states that the reserved seat may be allotted by rotation to different constituency in the state or the union territory. So for this bill to be effective, we need census. We need a delimitation commission. Why? Because we need to reconstitute our constituency so that the women can be granted reservation. Now let us discuss the 73rd and the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992, which has granted reservation to women in the local self-governments. The Constitution 73rd and the 74th Amendment Acts mandated the reservation of 1/3 of the seats. This figure is important, that the reservation is 1/3 of the seats for women in Panchayati Raj institutions and offices of the chairperson at all levels of Panchayati Raj institution and in urban local bodies respectively. So this added part 9 in our Indian Constitution, which talks about the panchayats and the municipalities. The 73rd and the 74th Constitution Amendment Acts established local self-governments in rural and urban areas of the government. So if we talk about this 73rd and 74th Amendment Act, it basically enacted the vertical distribution of power. Vertical distribution of power. So what is this vertical distribution of power? That the power will be now divided between the central government, state government, as well as the local governments such as the municipalities and the panchayats. And by this Amendment Act, women were given reservation. 1/3 of the total seats were reserved for the women, and out of the total 1/3 seats reserved for the women, 33% had to be reserved for the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. Importantly, 1/3 of the seats of the office bearers and chairpersons at all level had to be reserved for women as well. So not only we are giving women representation in the local self government, we are also giving women representation in higher authorities as well, such as the chairperson, etc. In that post also there is a reservation for women by virtue of 73rd and the 74th Amendment Act. So if we talk about some other provisions in our Indian Constitution which talk about the welfare of the women. So first is Article 15 Clause 3, which empowers, and it comes under the right to equality, and it empowers the state government to make special provisions, legislative or otherwise, to secure women's socio-political advancement. So our founding fathers were aware of the social plight of women in India, and that is why they inserted this special article, namely Article 15 Clause 3 in our Indian Constitution, so that it casts a duty upon the state to make such provisions which are helpful for women and children, because they are at a socially disadvantageous position. Then there is Article 325. It guarantees equal rights for both sexes and entitles women to enjoy economic, social, cultural and political rights on an equal footing with men. So these provisions are also important if we talk about the preservation of the women in our Indian Constitution, or the preservation of the women's right or equality of women in our Indian Constitution. So we are discussing that why women need representation in politics, because if they don't have power in hand, they'll not be able to communicate their issue as being women they can feel. And if we talk about the Gender Gap Report of 2022, Gender Gap Report of 2022. So India's rank is 48 out of 146 nations. Though this rank is good, but the score is very low if we talk about the representation of the women. In fact, 14% women are only MPs in the Lok Sabha, and this has also happened after a long time. So women need more representation so as to raise their specific issues, so as to act on the specific issues, so as to act for the whole welfare of the community of the women. With this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen that the plight of women in India. We have also seen that why women want representation at the political level. We have also analyzed the important features of the newly introduced Women's Reservation Bill. Now let us see a practice question for your prelims examination. So the question is, consider the following statements. Your statement number 1 is, the Women Reservation Bill guarantees 33% reservation to women in Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Your statement number 2 is, 1/3 of the seats are also reserved out of this 33% for the SC and the ST community. Your statement number 3 is, women get reservation in the local bodies by the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992. Which of the following statements given above are correct? Your options are, option A is 1 only, option B is 1 and 2 only, option C is 2 and 3 only, and option D is 1, 2 and 3. Now kindly drop your answer in the comment box below. Now let us discuss a practice question for your mains examination. What are the opportunities and challenges in the implementation of the Women Reservation Bill? Comment. So in the introduction you will write that why women are demanding political status or representation in the politics. Then you will, in the body you will write that what are the issues that are being faced by women in India and how political representation will solve those issues such as low literacy rate, etc. and then you will discuss the important features of the Women's Reservation Bill. Opportunities can be, or the advantageous point can be, women will get a say in the policy making, and they will be, power will be there in the women to act upon the social issues which they are facing. Then criticism is that it is creating women as a special class. So it is, women are not the special class, and the critics often argue that if we give this reservation to the women, women will not compete on their merit, but they will be dependent on the reservation that is given to them. So you will write both pros and cons of the Women's Reservation Bill, and you can conclude that if you see that the representation of women in the parliament, it is very low. Even though the numbers have improved since independence, the representation is still very low, and that is why maybe we need this historical Women's Reservation Bill. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, kindly drop it in the comment box below. If you found the today's discussion helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. Thank you.